Welcome to episode 3 of Why Did We Stop Asking Why? And I am very excited to jump into this one here. I was thinking about more why questions, and this one just popped into my head. Why are odd numbers called odd, right? Isn't there just something odd about the word odd? Like it just, if you say odd enough times, odd, 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 it starts to sound really weird. You start to sound like an alarm clock, don't you hear it? Odd, 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 odd. Maybe more like a car alarm, but either way, it's a bit odd, right? But anyway, so I Googled, my trusty Google, why are odd numbers called odd? And we get odd numbers or whole numbers, not weak numbers or impartial numbers. Odd numbers are whole numbers that cannot be divided exactly into pairs. Odd numbers when divided by 2 leave a remainder of 1. All right, well, I mean, that's pretty straightforward to the point, right? We could scroll down a little. Odd numbers can't be divided equally by 2, always leaving an odd one out. Thus, they're called odd. Odd numbers are numbers that cannot be arranged in pairs. Okay, so this got me to ask, well, why? Like why can't they be divided equally by 2? Because I guess that's even. But so I jumped over here as I wanted to know more about the word odd because it was just odd that I didn't really know that much about the word odd. And looking at Merriam-Webster here, odd is defined as differing markedly from the usual, ordinary, or accepted, not regular, expected, or planned, encountered or experienced from time to time. Right. So let's take a look and ask why so many definitions. First of all, for the word odd, because if you look down, this is entry 1 of 3, and this goes deep. It's an interjection, abbreviation of oppositional defiant disorder. I mean, it's got 6 definitions here. Why so many definitions? That's really odd, right? That's really differing markedly from the usual, ordinary, accepted, right? Pretty much, we accept definitions as like 1 or 2 things. We always accept, but why do we always accept that? Well, I mean, it's just odd, It's not regular, expected, or planned. So let's continue on here just for a moment. So I did see something here left over after others are paired or grouped, separated from a set or series, being any of the integers that are not divisible by 2. So some math stuff here, marked by a number of units, being a function. Wait, what? Why? Why? Why being a function? So odd is being a function that equals f, where the sign is reversed, but the absolute value remains the same if the sign of the independent variable is reversed. Woo! I think we need to go back to definition 1 because all of this right here, woo, and I took algebra, calculus, and all that stuff, and I understand this, right? But just read that real quickly here. Being a function such that you figure that out right here, where the sign is reversed, but the absolute value remains the same if the sign of the independent variable is reversed. That's a lot of words. That's a lot of words, right? That is not regular, expected, or planned. That's really odd. But I digress. Definition number 5, somewhat more than the indicated approximate quantity, extent, or degree usually used in combination. The example here they give is 300 odd pages, and I'll be honest, I say that sometimes in my day-to-day speak. They're like, oh, it's some odd, 20 odd, But I never really thought about why people say things like that. But also, if you look at this one here, constituting a small amount. So that's an odd amount. Had some odd change in her pocket, right? Well, you could have some odd change if it's a small amount, but it could be a pair. You had some odd change in your pocket, but it was a pair of quarters. So the definition of odd is becoming unraveled for me here. And then the last definition, having an out of the way location found in some odd corner of the house. So is an odd number an out of the way location? Is it because it's located in an out of the way location? Is an odd number, does it have to do with somewhat more than the indicated approximate quantity, extent, or degree usually used in combination? Is that what it is? Or is it not regular, expected, or planned? Is it more so differing markedly from usual, ordinary, or accepted, right? I like these definitions here. Encountered or experienced from time to time, occasional, right? So let's take a look at the actual even and odd numbers chart. Okay, just do a little comparison here. We're going to ask why. Why are they called odd numbers, right? Well, let's go back to the definition. Differing markedly from the usual, ordinary, or accepted. Not regular, expected, or planned, right? Well, if you look at the odd numbers here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, they come every other spot. Every other number is an odd number. Well, that's definitely regular, expected, and planned. It continues that way until infinity. It's not encountered or experienced from time to time. It's not occasional. It is consistent across the board here. Otherwise, they would not make these rows. This is consistency. Do you see this here? So why are they called odd numbers? If odd means not regular, expected, or planned, or differing markedly from the usual, ordinary, or accepted. Being without a corresponding mate. Is that what this is really all about? Because they're lonely? These numbers don't look lonely to you. Do they look lonely? Why does anybody think these numbers would look lonely? Look, they look like they got a whole bunch of numbers to play with. And like look at this little picture down here. It has them broken up odd, even. Like what makes these numbers so great? What makes them so much better than being odd? Right? These numbers are just as regular, expected, and planned as odd numbers. So why are they not called like, other odd numbers or like alternative odd numbers? I I could go on and on about this all day because I just don't understand the why behind this. I really don't. Especially with this involving numbers, and I love numbers. And you could also look at some of these in interjection used as a mild oath. It's a variant spelling of odd. Oh, so now it's an oath? Are we making oaths to numbers? I'm so confused here. This is so peculiar. It's just so odd. But at this point, I think I'm tapped out of the why questions, and I'm just gonna leave this up here because I think this illustrates so perfectly why. Why do we call them odd numbers? Can we come up with a different number for them? Like numbers that don't end in 2, 4, 6, 8. What do we appreciate? Odd numbers. Odd numbers. Yay. Odd numbers. I mean, I don't know. I really don't have a why here because none of this makes sense. So I'm gonna unfortunately have to keep digging for the why on this because I still don't quite understand why. So if anyone could help me out here and just please post in the comments section why you think they're called odd numbers. And honestly, at this point, you can use any reference source, whatever you can find, because I'm here on Merriam-Webster. I'm using Google, so you can use Wikipedia. You could use whatever you want at this point. Hit me with some Reddit stuff, but leave it in the comments. Nothing but love. I had so much fun doing this video, and I can't wait to see what you guys write about this. It's going to be fun. Until next time.